Hello everybody, welcome back to another Minetest mod review, and today we are looking at the Factory Bridges mod, which adds all of these stairways that you would expect to see in a factory. So right off the bat, we've got these floor tiles, I guess we can call them, like the platforms. Oh, and a trapdoor too, in case you want to have a super sneaky exit way into the water. I don't know who built this or what their thinking was. I mean, if I wanted to get to the water, I could literally just walk right off the edge. But that's besides the point. So we got these little deck kind of pieces, and then we have them with rails. So here, this is one piece, the rail, the base. You can kind of see the cracks appearing up on the handrail. It's one piece. And then continuing along, wow, that was poorly engineered. You kind of smack your head into the bottom of the stairway. It was bad design. We're gonna have to do something about that. So let's do something about it right now. That was actually a trapdoor. I didn't want to place a trapdoor. I do have creative on, which is why I'm digging these things by hand and maybe a little faster than I should actually be able to. They are kind of tricky to place, as you can tell, with having a very thin edge. It's hard to place right on the edge of that, and it's not uncommon to place them in entirely wrong areas. But I got that. Okay, now this needs a rail on it. Now I can't use the rail piece. Can I? No, that'll make it float in the air. That looks silly. So let's go ahead and grab the floor with the rail. And that actually should have been what we placed here. I'm going to go ahead and turn the free move on so I can get right there to place it. And as you will notice, it's placed the wrong direction, but nothing that our friendly friend of the screwdriver can't easily fix for us. And then I guess this should really be one with a rail on it, as should that other one. So where's mine with the single rail? Right. So we're gonna place a single rail there in front of it, not below the water. Quite tricky to work with. They're very easy when you just place it right on a wall. And then we just rotate these around so they face the right direction. And now you don't, well, you still come pretty close to smacking your head, but it's an improvement. So, as far as placing these on a surface, like if you've got a wall there, easy peasy. If you've got something underneath it, it's relatively easy peasy too. Stairs. Stairs come, wow, I'm jumping quite high as I descend. Stairs come in 3 variants. I have all 3 represented, but not here. You have a stair with a rail on one side. There is a stair with no rails, and there's a stair with a rail on both sides, which is floating kind of haphazardly up in the sky here. Now, in addition to these stairs, there are these things, and I don't know what the actual name is for these, but I have seen them in real life. It's like a metal frame basically that has a stairway, or not a stair, a ladder on one side, and they're quite common / prevalent on things like water towers, lookout towers, things where you don't have space to put a stairway in, so they pretty much just use this. And most of the time, they'll stagger these, so it'll probably be like, I don't know, 10 feet, 15 feet maybe, that you go up, and then there'll be a step over to a side, and then you'll go back up, and then you'll step over to this side. That way, if you were to lose your hold on the ladder, you're not falling all the way to the ground. You're falling to that next platform, and then you can, you know, kind of get yourself back together, rest up a little bit, and then continue the climb up. So there are those, and then once you get to the top, there's just the railing but no ladder, so you can exit, which is rather nice. And then we have just rails. So if you are doing like we did here, and you kind of have an observation post, but you don't want anybody to accidentally walk off the edge, you can put a rail up. And you could, if you wanted, I could have done this entire thing. Let me just dig these out. Could have done the entire thing with floors underneath it. It's up to you. Do you want to maintain the natural beauty of nature? Do you want to maintain the natural beauty of nature, or do you want to, make it look like you're inside a factory when you're outside? You can go either way. And it's honestly quite a bit easier when you're placing these, like I did down on the ground here that we can just barely see there. If you just place some throwaway material, so either dirt, leaves, whatever you got a gajillion of that's quick to dig, and you just place them where you want to place these, and you place them all on top, and then you dig those out. It makes it a lot easier to place. I did all of this with free move turned on, and it was still a little tricky. So here we have the stairway with rails on both sides, and then oh, you know what? I thought I had, but I didn't. There is an end piece. This guy right here. So you can do something like this and put an end on it so people don't accidentally, walk off an edge. So like if you're in a factory, I mean, keep in mind this is factory bridges. If you're up in a factory and you're kind of walking along the wall, just look at the assembly line down below, and you get to a dead end, you normally close it off so the inspector, the guy that's watching what's going on, doesn't just walk along paying attention to a machine and whoops, he falls and lands in a machine and turns into somebody's hot dogs or something. I mean, that would be very unhygienic and unsanitary and just very bad. And then I just did another one of these stairway tubes here. And these actually have a bunch of different building things that you can do. So there's the actual ladder itself, which I already had here. And I did use one of these. Yes, I only used one, and that is over here. So let's take a look at how this works. So you run down this. It's a little glitchy at the bottom because of how I did it, but that's my fault, not its fault. And actually that worked just fine. So here's a ladder is on the wall, and that matches up perfectly to these ladders on the inside there. But because I made the stair too wide, I had to put the ladder on this wall where it does not match, and it looks kind of goofy. It should be sitting right here where, whoops. Oh, I can't because that one's there. And now I probably can't because I'm placing in the node I'm in. You know what? Let's just do it this way. This would be far easier. That's how it should look. Yeah, I just place these things everywhere. There, that's how it would look, and it would match up perfect. But with it like that, I kind of making the stairway too wide was pointless because you couldn't go up that half of it anyway. So I just had to switch it around to do that. But there are so many neat things you can do with these ladders and the rails. Everything is craftable. So let's take a quick peeky look-see at that right now. You have four basic elements. There is we're just going to call it a platform here. 3 pieces of steel gets you 10 of those. And then like is this a baluster? This is it's the spindle. I don't know if that's the actual name that like makes your uprights for the railings on the stairs and on these flat platforms. You get 200 of those out of 3 steel in an angle like this, which is not bad at all. There's this little guy here, which you get 350 for 2. And then this larger one, you just have to use 3 of these to create. And then with those, you can, I guess you can use it as like a little cap. You can make all of your different corner posts. And now, what we would use this one for, this single piece, you see we got this inside corner here. And actually I can't do that on this because that has a floor. I'm going to have to run all the way back up to the tippity top so we can demo how we would use this. So to put this little spindle in, where we have two inner corners meet right here. This is a perfect example. See how they're just an open square and there's no upright? Whereas on an outside corner, there's no upright, but there's not an open square. This little doodad, if we would have been facing the right direction when we placed it, fills that in, matches up perfectly, and it also gives us a post, which we don't actually get on a normal corner, which is kind of weird if you really think about it, but that's what that's for. And then you have all your different variants of it as well. So you have one that has the 3 posts, which I guess you would use in conjunction with this if you were going to have a 3-way intersection, maybe? I'm not sure what the use case would be. Would be making for some type of an intersection, so you would have all your corners match. And again, yeah, you have all of these. So those are just made by putting the little uprights in the corners you want, and then the ones with a rail, you use this larger piece, which is made from 3 of those, etc., etc., etc. All your different shapes there for your stairs. The handrails, you have different steps of that. The floor platforms, it's the floor platform and basically the rail you want to put it with. Like, it's pretty self-explanatory. Stairs, you kind of use for your runners on the stair, and then if you want to put rails on it, you use a rail on a stair. Actually, I guess there's 4 types. I stated incorrectly when I said there was 3. There's 2 with rails because you have for the left and for the right, and the double trapdoor is just made of the floor and 4 of those. And then your different little ladder things here. You got the ladder, a fully surrounded, the one that we have up at the top. This one would be for like getting off onto one of these platforms on one side, which I didn't really demonstrate very well. Let's see if we can do that quick. I don't know which. Yeah, give me 10 of those. It's kind of hard to see what they are with the little. Okay, yeah, so we would have the tunnel coming up. You know what, actually, we could sort of ish do this here. Sort of ish. We'll just have to knock that out. Oh, but there's no floor to it, so that's kind of haphazard. A slight bit, but you see we get a ladder there. So we would have on either side of this. And because this is a ladder, you won't fall through it unless you walk all the way down. So you could do that if you had several tiers of walkways that you should be able to go out to the sides on, but you just wanted to have one long tube pretty much that you climb up through, and that would give you a back rail on it so you couldn't step off backwards off the railing and fall and turn into somebody's hot dogs. And there's different styles. I'm not sure what this one is. Let's try to get back in here if we can. Let's go up, up, up. To the top we go. Alright, let's punch that one out. Okay, so this would be the one that you would use if you had a stairway and it was at the end, and then you were going to have a walkway coming off to this side here. Now, the only thing I'm not sure of is how do you actually use that when you have just like that, I guess. Yeah, so it didn't want to dig a hole, but I guess that'll work because we kind of need a hole to show this. No, I didn't. Shouldn't be in creative. We wanted. No, I wanted to put it on top. On top, on top. There we go. Now I'll try to remove that. Try and remove that one. So yeah, you would basically then just have. Well, you would face it the right direction obviously. So you could go off of this stair and onto that. We'll just put a stair there. Yeah, that's the wrong wall to be on, but you know, whatever, it's good enough. It's still the wrong wall. It's still the wrong wall. There we go. More betterness. And yeah. I suppose as you were climbing up, you would have the higher ones with the rail around it so you don't die. But you would actually want one of those that only has a rail on 2 sides. I might already have this one. No, I don't. Okay. Is that the piece we need? We have a rail. I think that's the piece we need. So we have this piece coming up, and then we would want that piece on top of it. Take out that piece. Has to be rotated so it's the right way, though. I don't think that's... No, that is not the right way. There... Well... It would be the right way, except that the opening is the opposite direction of the opening on this one. How does that... Oh, actually, I guess that would be how that should work. Because you need one for both sides. So you'd use that if you had a path going that way. Well, what if the path should go both ways? I'm sure there's a piece for it, and I'm probably just missing it. But you can do a lot of really neat stuff with this. If you want to see a lot more cool builds that have been done with it, there's a lot of really neat pictures on the forum topic. And Richard Jeffries has several videos that he has used this quite a bit in. And you can get some real world examples of how to use these. I want to say it's a fire lookout tower that he has a whole stairway system done out of these nodes, and it is spot on. It looks really neat. So if you're looking for some inspiration, check those out. I'll have them linked on my website, which will be linked in the video description. And that's going to wrap this one up. So thanks for watching. Be sure to visit the links, head over to the forum, leave some positive feedback for the mod creator, assuming you have positive feedback to leave. And be sure to tune in next time for another episode. Smash that like button and make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. And yeah, I will see you next time.